And welcome back to the Football Fanatic podcast. Declan O'Connor here. I'm under the weather, but I'm here. Ready to talk about City. We are flying high. As is Dan, top of the fantasy football table. He's flying high. And his brother is top of the Super Six table. And Liverpool are top of the Premier League table. So Jesus Christ, no wonder he has that smug look on his face.
There's only one way to go now, lads.
Absolutely. Howard fresh back from Emirates at the weekend, and Moss just doing Moss things. How we all doing?
Good
Yeah,
day.
good day.
How what's wrong anyway? What's the issue?
Well,
Why you sick?
I've a blocked nose. I don't know.
This is what happens when City start losing numerous games. You just get sick, is it?
Yeah, just kind of trying to mask what's actually going on. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with my nose at all. But
You'll be on death's door next year when they're in League One.
yeah, just kind of call it a day completely and stop supporting.
Just remember, Deck, your body keeps the score. Just remember that.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, no, I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. I'm just stuffed up. But I mean, if I feel bad, you can only imagine how what they call a Pep and his team feel. They 5 losses in a row, 3 Premier League games losses in a row, 8 points behind Liverpool, potentially 11, depending on how next weekend goes. Chelsea are a point behind us. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 teams like literally a point or 2 behind us. I expect us to be not to be in second anymore after next weekend. We'll start with City and Spurs. I mean, we're at home. I genuinely thought after the international break, I mean, we get a few players back, a bit of refresh. But no, it was kind of very much more of basically what we've seen the last few weeks and worse. A lack of intensity, in my opinion. There was no plan B. We're missing Rodri, obviously, but it's not just that. Like it's in all areas of the field. Like there doesn't seem to be any imagination, no creativity. Where kind of players aren't putting in 100% from what I can see, anyways. I'm interested to see what you think. Why are City struggling at the moment? We'll start with Howard. What do you think?
Look, I think, as I said, it's a bit more than Rodri, but Rodri is a large part of it. I think it seems to be. I don't want to be I wouldn't get too down and dumps about it, but what it seems to be happening is that a lot of the players are that were plateauing last year are starting to kind of go downhill. All at the same time, if you know what I mean. So you have maybe Bernardo Silva, your Kyle Walker.
Who plateaued, do you think?
Well, like that's what I mean. I think like your likes of Kyle Walker and Bernardo Silva and a few players like that, even Stones. I think there's a lot of players that are kind of, they're reaching a certain age in their footballing career where they can't be expected to, keep performing week in, week out with their country and with their club, and expect them to put on a 5-star performance every day. And I think it's starting to, them players seem to have fallen off a bit. Like Walker was just.
Yeah.
Was anonymous there, and he got roasted by Werner a few times at the end of the game. You could just see like that would never have happened to him a few years ago. That them kind of situations would have never have come about. But I think there's a culmination of all that happening at once. But I honestly I wouldn't be going too doomsday on it at the moment. Like I think. At the first 20 minutes, Haaland could have had 2 goals, 3 goals. Like it would have been a different game if they went in. So I wouldn't completely jump. It was a brilliant performance for Tottenham, but I wouldn't completely jump and say City are done, finished, gone. I still think they have their part to play this season. But I just don't think they're definitely not at the level as they were with Rodri in the team. So overall. Resounding performance from Spurs and 4-0. Like only one of the few teams in the Premier League would do that to City, and Tottenham are one of them teams. I'm afraid they're like kryptonite for City when they need to be. I suppose put it that way.
But I suppose I'll take that. Fair enough. Like had we turned up and put in 1 or 2 in the first few minutes, it would be a completely different game. But I mean. This isn't just a once-off now. This has been going on for like a month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tottenham in the League Cup and in the Premier League. I mean, Brighton, Liverpool next
It's big.
weekend. I mean,
Going on, Deck, even before that, like you were scraping
yeah,
like
no,
3-2
that's a fair.
against Fulham, 1-0 against Southampton. Like you were kind of getting just about over the line. Remember, we were saying,
Yeah,
and you were like, "Well, look, it's still 3 points, still 3 points." So since Rodri went off, like that time,
yeah.
like it's really it's been backs to the wall and just haven't been at it. But I still think, look, Pep will get them together. I still think they will have. You wouldn't know what could happen next weekend. Like they could go and win that, and then all of a sudden they'll kickstart their season. So it's a massive game next weekend. Massive.
I'm not. I disagree with that. Like, I think we're not going to Anfield and we're not winning at Anfield. Not a hope. Not the way we're playing.
He's
No,
about to start crying, is he?
we're not. I know. I just my fucking sinus is. I can't. I can
He's
hardly.
welling up. He's welling up.
Yeah, we're not going to Anfield. We're not winning
I
Anfield.
can hardly breathe. What's he called? No, we're not going. We're not going to win. Not a hope. There's not a hope we're winning at Anfield next weekend. I mean, I'd be shocked if it was anything but a Liverpool win, given the way that we're playing, given the players that we're missing. But I'm not going to use that as an excuse because whoever's on the pitch should be given 100%, and that's not happening. Gundogan, since he's come back, he's been average. Foden, his season hasn't started. Haaland had a blistering start to the season, but he's gone missing. He's getting chances, but he's not taking them. De Bruyne, he came on at the weekend and he showed one or two glimpses, but I mean, he's still coming back from injury. There's mistakes at the back, people that you think will be dependable, not being dependable. Yeah, so there's so many, as I said, there's so many different things. It's not just Rodri. There's so many different things happening at the moment that I mean, he could give the team talk of his life, and I still wouldn't kind of expect anything from next Sunday. I do think Liverpool will be 11 points ahead. Dan, what do you think next Sunday?
Next Sunday, yeah. Look, I don't expect them to be as bad as they were against Spurs, but City have come to Anfield on several occasions. I mean, they've been favourites coming to Anfield and having won, and there's no doubt that Liverpool will be strong enough. I would imagine favourites next weekend. The way the season is going, there's a lot of madness happening, so you can't rule City out. We weren't great against Southampton. I know we get onto that at the weekend. If we play like we played against Southampton, City would have a chance, to be honest with you. I think that obviously have a chance anyway, but you would imagine that Liverpool will go into that game full of confidence, barring any sort of disastrous injuries during the week against Madrid. Like if Liverpool are serious about wanting to win the league title, like that's a massive chance when you have like kind of, I suppose, low on confidence. A City team coming to Anfield, you need to put them away, I suppose, And look, the fact that the City lost at the weekend, Liverpool won, would have been 8. You kind of can go into that game, and a draw isn't the worst result in the world, considering this big run that we've been on that was kind of going to, I suppose, going to be whether or not we're kind of serious contenders or not. And so far, so good in regards to that part of it. So. Yeah, look, I'd be fairly confident that we should be beaten. I would have been confident anyway. I would have said it here on the podcast that I think when City will come, we'll beat you anyway. Your record at Anfield isn't great, but not as many teams' records aren't great at Anfield. But yeah, I'd fancy us to win anyway. Do you want just give a bit on
going
City?
just going as an underdog though. Like you've never really gone to Anfield in the state. Our City have never gone to Anfield in the state they're in at the moment. Could there be a flip side that it nearly might be beneficial to them going in with a kind of underdog tone to them?
Yeah, well, fair enough. But we've also had a beaten squad and played City and Anfield, and City still haven't bet us on a couple of occasions over the last couple of years. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm like, right, they're not even going to be probably at full strength, nor any sort of confidence or flow going hard. And I suppose they might get a bit of a back in maybe a bit of rhythm back maybe in the midweek game. But yeah, of course, like Howard, they're still a top side, so they could definitely come to Anfield and could get a result. Liverpool play a high line, even though Spurs did and Brighton did, and I thought Haaland would have a field day in both of them games, but he came away pretty much empty-handed. On them though, I kind of would agree with Howard though about like say players were good last season, just off it. Like Foden is, player of the year, and you forget he was even playing in some of the games City have played so far this year. He said no impact at all. We're kind of into November now, so you're kind of looking at going, he kind of had the kind of injuries bit and players getting up to full speed after the Euros. But I think so many excuses are gone. But I do think their midfield is a problem, even outside of Rodri. That midfield, like in the engine of the team, and he'd associate with teams as well gone by where if City lost the ball in the transition, they usually would get a sneaky foul and they're not even getting close to lads to even try and clip them to even slow the game down. They're not getting anywhere, but like Pep has been known for his career as well, at the kind of like little cynical fouls. Look, most top teams do it now anyway. But they're not even getting close to try and break up that transition when teams are getting out. So I think the engine in the midfield, yeah, you mentioned Gundogan there, like just there's no legs. Rico Lewis, I don't know. I still am just perplexed as to what he is like. Is he a left back? Is he a right back? Where he plays, and he was completely out of his depth in central midfield at the weekend. But I just don't think that's. I really don't feel that's his position. I think he's too weak to play there for one. When you think of like the strength in City's team, it's usually like it's a powerful midfield usually associated with City's. When you look at the moment, it is quite soft, I think. And they haven't had a settled back four. I mean, go into that as well. Like, when you look at Arsenal last season for the majority of the season, look at Liverpool this season, it's a near enough settled back four. And, City have been chopping and changing, some due to injury, some due to players apparently not being at 100%. But, like, you don't know, Guardiola maybe be the exception, but the rest of them all season it's been kind of chopped and changed. And you can see that in them as well. Like, they're giving up poor goals. And then on the front line, Haaland is just missing a heap of chances. And like the problem is, and I mentioned in the pod there last week as well, like they're not getting goals from elsewhere. Usually you fucking have the wingers will be chipping in, constantly, and that's just not happening this year. Like Savinho has come in. I don't know what his goal tally is. I thought he was good when he came in at the start of the season. Looked like this lad got a bit about him, but like he's not chipped in. I don't think with many. And then I suppose Doku was in and out with injuries. Grealish, another one. So they don't have that strength and depth maybe of players coming in on the wings to maybe try and bail them out of a hole. But yeah, there's a bit more to it than Rodri. Rodri's a massive part of it, but I go for the midfield would be where I would leave it as it's. I remember a couple of years ago when Liverpool's midfield, we were going through a similar kind of a pattern of a poor dip, and it was Fabinho's legs were going, Henderson's legs were going. Yeah. There was no engine in the midfield, and I feel that's kind of where City may be at. Again, it wouldn't be, and like them to go out maybe in January and spend a few bob. You're looking at it going maybe
Yeah,
they don't have that many.
I didn't think we would, and now I think we will. Absolutely, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And even Silva, sorry, just even Silva, like, and he's like, I think we'd all say here, he's last number of years he's been exceptional for City, and even him, it's just he's making rash decisions, keeps giving the ball away, his body language is all wrong. And like he's one who probably of Cities, I'd say players have the best attitude I would have said over the last number of years. So anyway, that's my thoughts on City. Yeah.
So what do you think?
To be honest, my main take is that since Kyle Walker set up his podcast, you'll never beat Kyle Walker. Everyone's running past him. That's basically all I'm taking from it. But look, I think Dan has summed up pretty well. I think some acknowledgement goes to Poch and getting his tactics pretty bang on. Was well set up with five at the back. Played it kind of conservatively for Poch. I thought Davies was excellent for Spurs.
Poch.
And sorry, I'm going back in time. And Davies was well set up at the back. He had an excellent game and he had a good game, international break with Wales as well. And there was just a bit of a grit to them, unspursy, I suppose. And they just broke excellent and played some good football. I just thought Spurs were very impressive, and City made it easy. They were set up in such a way that completely played into a Spurs team, breaking a pace and power. And City are lacking that bit in the middle. But like City, in all of those games that we've mentioned, have had possibility of scoring 3, if not 4 goals in the first 20 minutes. Yeah. And they have missed a lot of chances, mainly Haaland. And if you can just get him start banging in 1 or 2 out of the first 20 minutes, then suddenly the whole dynamic of the game starts to change. So, yeah, look, City aren't the same animal, and you would question maybe over the last couple of years in terms of recruitment, have they taken their eye out of the game kind of a certain degree in relation to like being happy with the players that they have and selling youth all the time to fund their system, but maybe they haven't freshened it up and they are created a situation like Dan has described there when Firmino's legs started to go at Liverpool, etc. So you'd wonder if some of that is a contributing factor, but like Foden was player of the year, not there. He got player of the year ahead of Rodri, who got Ballon d'Or. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like that was the quality of performances people were putting in, and it's just not there. And I think Diaz is a massive miss at the back in terms of his leadership skills, and they're easy to play through at the minute, and
Do you
it's hard to
think
see
that
when that fix.
do you think they're out of the title race?
Probably yes. I think like they might close the gap, but if Liverpool have a comfortable enough cushion, and if they win at the weekend and take it to 11, they can mess up. They can have 2, 3 bad games and they're still clear. So like gap keeps growing. Keep questioning how will Liverpool respond or how will Slot deal with adversity, but he hasn't had to really. He's just kept it all showing the road and going smoothly and confident. And I thought there was to Liverpool. There's a calmness about them. Like even when they were losing to Spurs or to Southampton, it just kind of felt like they were just going to come back and get the win. It just seemed to be kind of in a very good place, which you'd associate with a team that's going to go on and win it. So look, you never know. City have quality players, and they could turn around and Pep. It would be Pep's greatest achievement, I think, if he was to manage to take their current position to win the league.
If you remember last year as well, like Foden was winning games when Haaland wasn't scoring. He went through when he came back from injury. He went through a kind of a period there where he wasn't really scoring, and Foden was winning games on his own. Do you know what I mean? He was getting braces and hat tricks. Like it was, he was insane for a certain period of the season. Like, and that's, you know what I mean.
Alvarez was another one as well who contributed quite well.
Of course.
That's gone out of that system. And Silvino hasn't added goals. As much as he does contribute well to the game, he isn't contributing in terms of scoring goals.
Alvarez was he work off the front, like work like a dog as well. Like he is actually, you're right. Forgot about him. He's I think as well the fear factor is the other thing now when sides are actually are taking them on. You know, especially I think it's been noticeable even in some of the lesser teams. I think of Wolves. Remember Wolves played there? They got a late winner, but like Wolves took them on and didn't just play complete. Let's just wait to get bet. You know,
there's no plan B. You know what I mean? Like whereas years ago there could be the passing, trying to control the pass and control the tempo. That was all there, but there was also this kind of not being afraid to take a chance, and whether it was De Bruyne or Silva or Foden playing that through ball through the middle, it doesn't have to go from side to side. But now it's so slow. They're not so much kind of trying to walk it into the net, but they're trying to kind of pass it and pass it and pass it. And all it takes is like to intercept it, and then if the opposition has quick players, are gone. And that's what's happened so many times. Happened there at the weekend as well. So I mean, there's no plan B anymore. There's what do you call it? It's very much kind of play it from side to side, keep passing, keep controlling the game, get it into Haaland, and then hopefully. But I mean, it's not happening.
I kind of said like, I know you were saying there. I was thinking that last year as well. I don't know what the stats are for it. I just remember in Super 6 last year, I kept picking City to win to 0, and they kept conceding goals last year. Like they concede one. Do you know what I mean? Like they kind of this. I'm not sure if you go back and Rodri was playing, whether or not maybe it's a bit even deeper again. Like that just. I don't know how many clean sheets they got last season, but I just remember every time I told them to win to 0, they concede. They were conceding last season, so that there is probably a maybe something around that as well, just defensively. How solid are they?
I think in relation to Dan, there was something like they conceded 27 big chances on the transition last year. And out of those 27 chances, like about 80, I think it was 82.5 or something of those chances were converted. So when they did give up chances, even last year, they were.
Where do you get these numbers from?
Where do I get these numbers from?
How the hell are you just pulling these out of sky?
Because I've heard it, Dick. I was doing research and it kept coming up about City and this being the history of it in the background. So that's
82.5%, yeah.
Of the 27 chances that they gave up were converted. So like there was a high conversion rate on City being turned over, even with Rodri in the team.
Fair enough. But look, Liverpool next weekend. We'll move on to Liverpool now. What do you call it? It was actually a great game. It was a really good game to watch. A couple of contentious.
For the neutrals.
As well. So fair enough. It was a great game to watch. Howard, you were watching in the airport. Good atmosphere.
Great atmosphere. I was with a Norwegian QPR diehard fan who was over for the QPR Stoke game. So he was skinhead guy. He was sitting beside me drinking his Norwegian beer. And we were watching the Liverpool game. He left at half time, of course. I was stuck there for the day, but
Did you get his name?
I actually didn't get his name, no. But very, very Norwegian. Erling, I think his name was maybe.
Really?
No, but no, nice guy. But yeah, watched it. I thought it was a fantastic game entertainment wise. Southampton, like, you had the good, the bad, and the ugly there in the game. Like, Jesus, that McCarthy goalkeeper shouldn't be let near a pitch anytime soon. Like, he was, Roy Keane put it down to rustiness. I don't know if you can, like, he just was making shocking calls. Like the second goal, the first goal, like, you don't pass it to the defender in that position or the midfielder, and then this second goal was something that you'd see down in the Cam Celtic game in Roscommon, like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't see that in Southern the League, never mind the Premier League. And then of course the penalty then was just unfortunate, but it was a very interesting game. The man must say Tyler Dibling is a serious player. He's not going to last in Southampton. I'd say, like, he'd be 40-50 million he'll be going for in the summer, I'd say, if he's getting taken off. He's a bit like a kind of a faster Jack Grealish, kind of the way his style is. But their second goal, Southampton, I thought was an absolutely brilliant goal from start to finish. And I think they were unfortunate maybe they did not get a penalty that time. I know they were complaining that, like, you could if he gave it, it would have been a penalty, but he gave it, it wouldn't have been overturned. But
this is the Fanatic one, is it?
No, sorry, that one as well. No, this was the one where he was true on goal and Armstrong hit it. Kelleher came out to get it and completely missed it and then hit into Armstrong. I thought that was a bit of a shout, but you could argue the Liverpool or the first goal that Southampton got might have been on, just before the line. Yeah. Was it on the line? So could have went either way. Liverpool off the hook, didn't think they were fantastic. Thought Salah again was obviously such a clutch player, but if they didn't get the penalty, I wasn't unless it was going to come from a mistake, I wasn't sure if they were going to break them down. I know Salah hit the post in that time, but I just, that was obviously when they went 3-2 up. But I just thought at 2-2 they looked comfortable enough. But overall, a good win for Liverpool when they weren't playing well. But the performance would worry you a bit if you were a Liverpool fan, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Dan, feedback.
I wouldn't be that worried considering just a first game after the international break, and I don't know if it's just us, but I always think we're shite. Usually first game after an international break, always poor, always look disjointed. It was no different. I think we were lucky, to be honest with you, maybe to come away with the 3 points yesterday. I think Southampton you could argue, was the 3 mistakes of the 3 goals.
Was there a bit of luck about Salah's first goal, wasn't there?
A bit of which?
The bounce, the way the ball bounced for Salah's first goal. Do you see that?
Yeah, kind of Gravenberch played over the top, is it? Yeah, and kind of fell into part. Yeah.
He didn't mean that.
It was a good spot. I think it was a good run, and I suppose that's the run that Salah's made a living of, and scoring them kind of goals. But actually, it was a good finish. McCarthy, you could say make it easy for him, but I still think it was a good finish from Salah. But I didn't think we were great. There was a lot of poor enough performances. Robertson was dodgy again. Konate was very good. Yeah, Konate was definitely off as well. It was really rash and good away silly fouls. And I kind of, again, Núñez, he worked hard, but for me, I prefer us to be playing Diaz there a couple of weeks ago, played in the kind of the false 9, you want to say, as the kind of main striker, and he got a hat trick, I think. So for me, I'd like to nearly play him there, Gapco on the left and Salah on the right if it was me at the moment, because I don't think Núñez has that much impact outside of him working hard. He's not really creating. Did he have it? I think he set up the chance for Diaz that Diaz should have scored, but outside of that, and usually the last games he hasn't really been dribbling a whole lot. So I'd like to see us make a change there. But look, we didn't play well and got 3 points in kind of I suppose at a game where a windy old dirty day down at
the conditions weren't great in fairness.
What do you call it? More importantly, I suppose I'm curious, kind of get your thoughts on Salah. Actually, I'll come back to you, Moss. Can I get your thoughts on the whole Salah thing? What do you think will happen? Will he be gone? Will he stay? Will Liverpool? Who's going to make the first move, basically?
Well, looking at him, his performance this season, like Liverpool, we know we're near the top of the league without him. Like, as in the goals he's contributed and the assists, he's their
Yeah.
absolute talisman. Like, and if you're talking about this part of a team that wins the league in the convincing style that they are at the minute, like to let him go off in the distance seems madness because I don't know
Yeah.
what sort of money you'd have to invest to replace his contributions to that team. You do have to bear in mind that football, I suppose, footballers, they're a commodity of a team by a business, and he's 32, and he probably wants 350K tip around that, and probably wants a 2 or 3 year contract. Is he going to maintain that for 2 or 3 years? You don't know. Kyle Walker, you were said last year
Yeah.
was excellent. First time I really questioned him was the European or the final against Spain for Spain's second goal, and you've seen steady drop in performance this season. So when it does come, the decline can come quite rapidly. So it's a gamble to invest that sort of money in him for 2 or 3 years and be stuck paying those wages.
Well,
If you could get him to agree to a 2 year contract, a year contract maybe,
yeah.
absolutely, you'd sign him on in a heartbeat. But I just don't think they're going to go find a common ground from a business point of view. Every Liverpool fan is going to want his contract to be extended. I think Salah personally would like to stay there, but I think he expects his contributions to be
Yeah.
past contributions to be reflected in his pay pack.
Well, like, fair enough. I agree with that, absolutely. But like, I'm just looking at his age. He's 32, 33 in June. So effectively, 33 at the start of next season. I mean, what would he be on? Probably 350, I'd say, definitely. Do Liverpool give him that again? 2 years? Surely nothing more than 2 years. Dan, what do you think? Like, what's the middle ground? Like, what do you think is acceptable for both sides?
Yeah, I don't know because I know he done an interview where like he was asked and he gave an honest answer, and I think people are kind of scrutinising it. Like he was asked, he hasn't been offered a deal, so it doesn't mean that the sides aren't talking because it came out a while ago that they'd open negotiations with all three players that are out of contract next summer. So just because there's not an offer on the table doesn't mean the sides aren't talking. What's coming out today, whether or not now it's true or not, seems to be that the club are stuck on 2 and he wants 3, and whether or not then the ground is it 2, and then if based on performances he gets offered a third, then they come to some sort of agreement. But I think I was put in the WhatsApp we were talking earlier on, like there's not that many players out there that get 350 grand at the age of 33. You know what I mean? Like get a big wage like that. Usually there is. I think De Bruyne is the one. Like he'd be on similar money, and I envision that unless he's going to take a big drop in pay, he's probably going to be leaving City as well. But yeah, like there's no doubt his performance is the fact as well that you look at him, the decline can be quite rapid. But when you look at the way he keeps himself, obviously he doesn't drink.
Doesn't smoke, doesn't do drugs.
He doesn't do anything bad that we know of. You'd imagine, you'd imagine. Like, look, he doesn't have the impact that he had 6-7 years ago, where he was just electric. For 90 minutes. It's more kind of like he wasn't in the game for about 20. I don't think he touched the ball for about 20 minutes yesterday.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he's still coming away with a brace. You know what I mean? Like so, and he's done that several times this season. So that in a sense is, I think, a commodity that you don't get too often either. And I think he definitely is worthy of giving him 350. I'd say give him 350 100%. And I think if they don't, it will come under a bit of scrutiny because there has been a lot of I suppose in the media a lot over the last couple of years, and with Liverpool fans around the club being a bit stingy and not really spending the money that other clubs are, and that they have a wage structure, and they broke the wage structure. Remember as well, to give Salah that contract, that was the most that they'd ever given a player. They broke that structure. So I would be definitely giving it to him. I think that's something we'll know in the next couple of weeks because I can't imagine that they'll let it go into January when he can pre-sign a contract with another European club. With something, not at least an offer actually given to him. But if it's a thing where he wants 3 and the club are offering him 2, surely there is a compromise where it can be 2, and then based on the level of performance, there could be an option of a third or something. Like there's ways and means around it. But if the 350 is the stumbling block based on his age, considering the form he's in this season, I would say that they have to give it to him. But the other side of that is if Liverpool were to go on and win the league this season, and that's the other side of it, would it be a great time for the likes of a Salah, the likes of a Van Dijk, even Trent, for them to be kind of like, right, we leave on a high, possibly with a league, maybe another cup or something like that? Is that something else that could also be going to the front, you know?
Can I just say on that as well, like, and Wenger was always of the belief of this, like, you know, if a player is in his last year contract and he's going for another contract, they'll always play to their best ability. You know what I mean? It's an additional bit of carrot on a stick, let's say.
Rashford's a prime example.
Yeah,
Rashford's a prime example.
Like,
yeah.
See what happens the other side when they get the money. So,
I would be worried to a point if they gave Salah the contract in January, and then I would have a level of cautiousness of how he would perform if he could perform at that level now that he is, because he's killing now. I think he's like, he took off his shirt, like he's proven, like, look how good Nick I am, look how fit I am for this. I'm telling you, it's all like he wants his last contract, and he wants to get worth, and he's trying to prove that he's worth it. And I think if you take that little level away from it, it could hinder Liverpool. Like, they've three. Trent's had a good season. Van Dijk's been amazing this year, and Salah's been amazing. So they're the three guys who are out of contract. So they have not just a title to fight for, but their own futures. You know. So
of course, I will say to Howard, to understand that, like, there's no player at 32, 33 is going to be getting better. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not unless you're fucking maybe Danny Welbeck there, it's like Benjamin Button at the moment, the way he's going on. But in general, like, you know, he's not going to be that decline is
100%
coming. What Liverpool should be doing now is trying to tie him down to a 2-year deal, and now looking at, right, in 2 years' time, who is the next player that's going to come in, is going to be the replacement for Salah. That would be, in my head, it'd be, you're really buying yourself time. You know it's going to decline within a certain period of time. You're also giving yourself the time to go out and pick the right replacement. So, I'm with you though. There's no doubt that.
Yeah, I think the handling of them three contracts, you know, could have a big impact on their season.
That's what I'm kind of giving up on a title, but I'm kind of slowly, just fingers crossed that they're going to implode.
Well, it could have a little bit of it could have an impact. Like, if they said to Salah, look, we're not offering it. The talks have broken down, we're not offering a new deal. He might be like, well, this is my last season, I'm going to give it my all. Or it could be, I'm pissed off so much with the hierarchy, I'm going to throw my toys out of pram. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he kind of fell out of top last year.
That won't happen. I wouldn't accept that, because I think the one that will cause eruptions will be the Trent one, because Trent is a Liverpoolian. The other two, I don't think, because I don't think they firstly owe Liverpool anything based on the amount of service they've got out of them. And they've never acted like that. I know, Salah was taken off in one game and he threw a bit of a strap, but like that I think Salah even came out and said, like, he wants to win titles. He's obsessed with numbers. So for him, he wants to, if he was going to be leaving, he'd want to leave with his legacy being he's won Liverpool another league title or whatever, whatever it is. And I think Van Dijk would be similar. So I wouldn't be worried from that regard. The Trent one is the one which I think is the worst kept secret in football, because there's nothing at the moment for me that's suggesting that he's staying. There's nothing. There's nothing at all that's coming out.
Well, there's a billboard in Madrid with his face on it. That's that.
Yeah, and like, it's been regularly reported in the Spanish media that they've talked a couple of times, like, and for me, it's like the worst kept secret that potentially there could be a deal in place. And of course, God forbid, you wouldn't want that to come out, because that would make things 10 times worse for him. But I see nothing at the moment that suggests to me that he's going to stay.
He's going to Madrid. Madrid are crying out for players. Like, they need defense.
Danny Carvajal,
Danny Carvajal's out for season. Like, he's done ACL. Militao did his other ACL, so they've two of their starting defenders out. So like and like Militao then is coming back, having had 2 ACLs in 2 years, basically, or 3 years. So like, they're going to be looking for cover for basically across the back line.
Yeah,
we will see. I suppose what you call it, 3 players that with their futures kind of will impact, especially in the second half of the season, what happens with Liverpool. But again, I keep going back to the lead that they have. Even Arsenal, I think, teams will overtake City next weekend, in my opinion. and it will be Liverpool.
Dec, can I just say, like December will tell a lot about Liverpool. I think in the grand scheme of things, like I know we
You
said
said that for November as well.
No, I never said. I didn't say that for November. People were always going on about these hard run fixtures that Liverpool had. Like they had Arsenal away, Brighton at home, and Villa at home. It's not really crucial top of the table clashes. Like, you know what I mean? I think you have Tottenham, City. Who else do you have in December? You've a host of tricky
Madrid in the
games.
Champions League. They have.
You've Newcastle away.
I like this fighting talk off Howard.
Well,
but you're claiming now that their run isn't hard, though. Is that what you're saying? That the run that they've been on. So the run that they've been on was
claiming. Remember, but what I'm claiming is that we keep saying that Slot was challenged and he came out with a tough run of fixtures, but I don't think they've gone through a tough run of fixtures. I think December. Honestly, if you're 9 points ahead and at the end of the year, you'll win the league, 100%. But I find it difficult to think that you'll be 9 points. You'll have a 9-point lead by the end of the, because like you have proper tough games coming up now, and I'll hold my hands up and I'll say he's I agree with you on that manager if he comes out with them. So I still think they're yet to be properly tested on a run of fixtures, and we'll see at the end of December.
Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
No, I was just I agree with you there, because you're just on the 11-point thing. You know, if they beat City and they go 11 points clear, like the fact that it's City, Newcastle, and Everton, I think in the space of
Everton, that'll be a tough game.
Yeah, they're two away. They're away to Everton and Newcastle. So I think if you were to come through both of them unscathed and beat City, I'd be having a different conversation regarding how confident I'd be, because that I think is near the end though of the very difficult run that they would have had between, say of 10 games. Because I know you mentioned about Villa, but Villa are a good side. Brighton, you lost to Brighton. I know you had a red card, but like Brighton are good. Like, so Brighton are 45th in the table, and then we went away to the Emirates and got a point as well. So,
but they're not your Newcastle away, your cities. They're your Tottenham. Like I think they'll tell a lot. And
is there any easy games, Howard? We went away to
Southampton, we were on the table
and struggled through.
At the rate you're going to be plus 100 points. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think if you're going to drop points, it's going to be this month, because you have a lot of tough fixtures. Do you know what I mean? That you have a cushion there for a reason. And I think
no team reaches 100 points. Oh wait a second.
I think it would be unnatural with the amount of games that there is for like actually, and something was a point on the fixtures and they're running. Like I'd happily drop and rest a few players against Madrid during the week. Liverpool basically are already going to qualify.
They don't need to. They're already on 12 points.
I know they won't do that. But if it was me and I'm looking at going, right, we've City on Saturday, Sunday, chance to go 11 points clear. Madrid are missing a couple of players as well. I'd rest.
Are you sure they're not going to do that?
I don't think it's not going on Slot this season. If you look at it, his rotation's been very minimal. He doesn't seem to make too many changes. I think the fact that he took Apco off and he took someone else off, was Jones off early, like they're definitely going to start in midweek, and Diaz only come on as well. So I'd imagine with it being at Anfield against Madrid, it's a massive game. I suppose there's two-sided. I want us to go and beat Madrid because we've history with them. Like, they've given us an awful doing on numerous occasions the last number of years. But if you were looking at it going, what's more important at the moment? It's not the Champions League, because we're pretty much guaranteed to not have to go into that knockout round with the other teams. We have Lille at home in January. Like we'll definitely be in that top tier that won't have to play that qualifying game.
Well, it's a much more important game to Madrid than it is to E, like, because in Madrid need to win, like, so
they're in trouble.
Madrid
they're in big trouble.
Just one last thing there, like I saw an interesting stat on the Liverpool stuff. This is all obviously, my Twitter feed is all about hope that Liverpool are going to mess up, so I have plenty of info on.
Howard.
And it's interesting that the narrative at the start of the season, all this shit that you were saying was about City. And now it's changed.
But like this isn't. I'm not talking shit. This is just these cold hard facts. Like, the facts are that you're playing City, Newcastle.
All right, Rafa, calm down, Rafa.
Next, no, but what I was going to say is that which I thought was interesting. Liverpool had 31 points already. But in the exact same fixtures, did you see that stat, Dan? The exact same fixtures. Yeah. The exact same fixtures that they had, and if you take the relegation teams with the teams that got relegated last year or the newly promoted, you're on the exact same amount of points. So when you look at the fixtures that you played and the teams that you played, you're on actually the same amount of points as the teams that you played last year. That's kind of mad. So like, you know, we're saying like Liverpool have run away with things, like they're actually on the same level as they are last year.
It's the decline in the other two teams. It's not. It's like that's exactly, where it is. It's and again, Odegaard is back for Arsenal now. I know you can add to them. Like they looked better than they've looked. It looked like they looked like they've done them good and they've reset. Where City seem to have gone the opposite way. But that is it. Like Liverpool are taking advantage of the fact that the other two, you would argue, better sides pre-season anyway, without doubt, have faltered, and we've taken advantage. But like that again. We could be looking at this in a completely different. We could be looking at this in a week. In
January, we could be looking at this, and there could be 3 points between Arsenal and
Liverpool. 100%. Was City 8 behind Arsenal last season? Was City were 8 behind Arsenal last season, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. They turn around like
City were 8 behind Arsenal last season, so it's not like insurmountable.
But they were 8 behind Arsenal, but they had like 2 games in hand or something like that.
And they were playing well.
Yeah, but we weren't playing dog shit.
Yeah.
That's City and Liverpool well and truly covered.
Sorry.
No, not at all. Howard, I want your kind of take on Arsenal. You were over at the Emirates at the weekend. Saka was outstanding, I thought. Dan, you made a really valid point. Odegaard seems to have definitely kind of kicked them back into gear.
So good. Yeah.
Just, I don't know what, he brings something, like he's a fantastic player, we all know that. But he just brings creativity and imagination and work. Like he brings hard work into that team.
And game management and like is you know, his on the field game management is insane. Like you can see him like telling players where to go and what to do and running around. Like I
think he can replace De Bruyne at City.
And League Two. He's not going to go to League Two, like.
Anyways, go on. What's the match like?
Oh, so like I think it's only when he comes back you realize how much they missed him, Arsenal. Like it's just been he really is like the creative spark, the workhorse, the manager on the pitch. He's all of them. He comes up and he goes into these pockets and picks the ball up off the defense, like in like places where the opposition just like they don't know where to go with him, and he just pops up, and it's them little connecting bits and pieces that he does that really like make a massive difference. And like that connection he has with Saka, you know, on the side, I'd say you'd be nearly drawing comparisons with like Perez and Henry back in the day. That kind of partnership they had, they're on the same wavelength. They know where they're going, they know exactly where to put the ball, you know, in front, where in front of the player where he's going to run onto it and all that kind of stuff. So he's like, for a man who's been out for 2 months and come back like that, he's you know, it just shows you he didn't need much time to bed in and get fit again, because he's gone straight off the bat. But
and who's this 17-year-old player?
Waneri. So he's quality. Yeah, I think I mentioned in the group a few weeks back, like he's going to go straight to the top. Like he's class. He could have got maybe more time. People are kind of giving out that he probably should have been given a bit more exposure and time when Odegaard wasn't there, because he plays in the Odegaard position. But I think Arteta was just a bit wary putting him in at that age. So let's see. He's going to be top. Like he's breaking all the records for.
Emile Smith Rowe was sold, wasn't he? Was to make way for
part of that.
Develop.
His kind of spot was a bit blocked. All right, Smith Rowe with Waneri coming in, so he's going to be a very good player. Like he'll be like another Saka, but maybe for an attacking field. I think he'd be nearly to that level in a couple of years. He'll be like a Saka level. But anyway, back to the team. Like great to get back to winning ways. Good victory against a good Forest team, but and Forest.
What was the Emirates experience like?
Good. I was in with the Aspern Army, so they're like all the ultra guys. So well, they call them ultras. They're guys with drums, pretty much, and they wear like balaclavas. They spend most of the time looking up at the crowd. They don't even look at the game. It's gas. They'll be up at the crowd trying to get a chance going. I was literally 2 rows behind them, like so I was behind the goal, and no, the atmosphere was brilliant. They were singing they were singing a song that was like you sing one end sings it, and then the other end sing the other half, and then it sings back and sings back. So I must say it was it was brilliant atmosphere. Wet day, but like the football was
it's a brilliant stadium to watch a match in. It's an unbelievable viewing stadium. I was there.
Clear as a whistle, like everything you can see everywhere pretty much.
Savage.
Where we were. So but no, brilliant, great buzz. I love, like, it's my first game now in the last few years that we won without any bother. Like the last few times it's been draws and tough like last minute goals, whatever. This one was like a nice relaxing 3-0 win. So look, they need to drive on. They have some very, like, unlike Liverpool, they actually have a lot of easy fixtures now. And like, as much as I always harp on about good fixtures, you need to win the easy fixtures. You need to go on a run. They need to go on a run now. Need to get Rice back on the pitch, Havertz back on the pitch, and just get into that groove. And if they don't, that'll be it. I think. But I'm optimistic.
Good man. Good fighting talk off you, Howard. That's what I like to see. Moss, we're going to move on to you now with Ipswich and Man United. Your first love and your kind of second love in Ipswich.
yeah.
Good game.
What I keep in the hook, yeah. Look, fuck it. It was Amarin's first game. I was delighted to just get him fucking playing because I was so sick of talking to people talking about what he was going to be like and his 3-4-3 and all this kind of crap that's been going on for the last 2-3 weeks, whatever's been going on. And I just wanted to see him play football, and he did exactly what I hoped he would do. He set up his team the way he thinks is best, even though he's trying to put round pegs and square holes, or whatever the right way of putting that expression is, with some of those players. But he just made the most of it. He couldn't have written the start and pick Ahmad's playing as wing back. Did exactly what he wants his wing backs to do. Drives on, squares at Rashford, and in 80 seconds you're winning. But like, there was a lot of people who were clearly trying to figure out, as Amran said in his post match, he's like, you could see players trying to figure out where they were supposed to be, as opposed to being concentrating on the football. They were constantly trying to figure things out, which is only natural with changing to a new system mid-season and having 3 sessions with the whole team. So look, Ipswich are a pretty tough team to play at home.
But they're very good.
Yeah, they play good football. They only for Onana probably should have easily could have won that game. He made 2, if not 3, absolutely top quality saves.
We laugh at Onana.
We do.
Yeah.
Christ, he was very
good. I'd be the first to say it. I didn't rate him, but he has been very good this season. He has made some absolutely top-notch saves, reaction saves, a very important game at times for us. So look, he's having a good season. It's hard to take too much out of it, like, as in he had a couple of training sessions with him. I think when he changed it up and brought on Agarte in that midfield to give us a bit of legs, really, because we don't really have it. Ericsson and Christian Eriksen and Casemiro, just don't. They're players and just don't have the legs for the Premier League, and that's just a reflection of the league that it is. And I thought Shaw was nice to get him back on the pitch playing, and that left of the centre back looked well. So we started to look a lot better with that, and we had kind of our best spell in the second half. But it's great to get him started. I would have taken a draw, to be honest, Ipswich away. Ideally, it would have been a win and get momentum, but like, you can clearly see there's the limitations in that United forward line and the lack of goal threat.
Do you think that they will spend in January, or will they wait till the summer?
I wouldn't expect much being spent in January, to be honest. I would expect him to suss out the players that he has and basically take this as his development period and try adjusting to the system and see who works for the system and who simply won't. And summer then to be relatively busy in terms of ins and outs. Whatever, it'll have to be sales to fund anything, because realistically we're not going to be Champions League again. So that's another financial hit. So like, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But look, I really liked. I think he interviews very well. I like how he speaks. He's a charismatic guy who make you kind of feel like he might get players to buy in. But these players have let manager after manager down, with lack of work ethic, etc. So we wait and see. But it was a solid enough start. Very impressed with Ipswich overall, to be honest. I think they play great football. Liam Delap is a handful.
He really is
just buzzing around the whole time. He's working really hard. They're going to concede goals. They're a little bit fragile at times, but for a team that are back-to-back promotions, like we're used to winning week in, week out, to try and adapt to not winning week in, week out, and still be difficult to play. I think he's kind of settled into his starting 11, and kind of last 2-3 games he started to kind of they've settled a bit. So look, overall it was a fair result. I think Ipswich probably, if you had to, I think they might have been shaded in XG, but we'll take it and we move on and see how it starts to develop from there. We've got a nice game in Europe this week that might give us a chance to get his first win.
Very good. All right, so the rest of the fixtures over the weekend: Fulham 1, Wolves 4. There were 2 goals by Kuna. Did you see them? They were outstanding.
Oh, unreal.
Unbelievable.
Ball
He
for
could
the
be-
first one. Unreal.
He's a
Pass
player.
from Lamina or something. It was Lamina top.
Lamina, yeah.
It was beautiful.
Absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely.
And in doing so, what you call a Fulham, I had them in last man standing, so gone at the first hurdle. You know what I mean?
Not just gone, but like pushed off the horse there.
Yeah.
Oh God, I was listening to the radio. Wobie put Fulham up again, another great goal. Jeez. But I thought, Fulham will win this easily, but now Wolves kind of they're starting to slowly click, and I think Gary O'Neill is doing a very good job. But I mean, they've had a tough start, in fairness. But now, like, kind of, they do seem to have a nice run of fixtures that kind of could bring them up the table. So we'll see.
They did ride their luck a little bit, Jack. Like, as in, Fulham hit the crossbar. Like, it was nearly the most unbelievable own goal I've ever seen off the crossbar.
Yeah.
And like they probably had a shout for a penalty. Like they were right in the game. Really, the final score didn't really reflect the game, I thought. But like. Wolves, as much as Kuna's quality is shown the last, like you still wouldn't have much confidence in them. Like, they're very susceptible to conceding goals, and they're poor at the back. And unless like Kuna has found a bit of form and has been excellent, but unless they spread that out a bit and get a few more players to pitch in a bit more, I'd still worry about them going long run and Gary O'Neill's keeping his job, to be honest.
They're unbeaten though, aren't they? They're on a bit of a run though, aren't they? They're unbeaten in like 4 or 5 games, I think.
They have two wins in a row, and they're unbeaten in 4, possibly
4,
5.
is it? Yeah,
draws
they
beforehand, I think.
They've got better, I suppose, because the start they looked like they were going to be. But I think each season they keep selling their best players. You're going to do that for so long, and
then realistically you're looking at that going, oh, who's going to buy Cunha this summer? Like, you know,
100%. And do you know actually as well that lad that was playing for Southampton as well, that Fernandez lad, he looked good.
Oh, he looked very good, yeah.
As well, yeah.
Okay, elsewhere, Bournemouth 1, Brighton 2. Brighton's first goal was fantastic, and then Pedro's assist. Did you see that?
The Matoma.
Matoma.
Absolutely.
I was debating which one was better, the Lamina or the João Pedro one, but
just ever see like those goals where the assist is sometimes better than the actual goal itself.
The pre-assist.
Yeah, What?
Remember the Cole Palmer pre-assist?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Elsewhere, Villa 2, Palace 2. Villa, like, they haven't won in 4, so they're definitely feeling the effects of playing twice a week.
Can I just put it? I them in my last. I had Villa and Newcastle in the last man standing. So Villa. Villa have gone.
I was close to picking Villa, but I picked Newcastle.
I think you can buy back for a £5, and sure, look, Monks and United probably could do it more than me. So do you know what? I might buy back as well.
And then Leicester 1, Chelsea 2. The 2 questions here. So I suppose Chelsea are quietly climbing the table, man. We can laugh at them all they want, but they're up there. Secondly, who do you see Leicester going for now that Cooper is no longer in the
apparently Van Nistelrooy, have they read that they were
I've seen a good few rumours about Van Nistelrooy as well, yeah.
Apparently they're talking to him. And that's an interesting one, because you wonder whether or not, like, how long that's in the pipeline as well. Is it based on the couple of games that he got, or would he been considered before that? But interesting one, yeah, wouldn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I didn't read that at all today, but I mean,
yeah.
Interesting. I would have thought like
know what sort of appointment that would be like, as in, but he definitely play better football, and that's kind of what Leicester want. And he come in with, I suppose, with a lot more buy-in from the fans rather than Cooper, former Norris.
There's another club you can support, Massey. Leicester. Leicester is another club you can support.
No, you're fair enough. I won't be supporting Leicester anytime soon. No.
Cooper probably a small bit unlucky though, is he? Like, like where did Leicester think they were going to be at the?
Yeah, I agree.
I know the
I
fans
just think
second he came in.
though,
Yeah,
like they just didn't play football. Like they just wanted
yeah,
to sit
yeah.
back, and like Jamie Vardy came off at the end when he came off, was taken off about 60 minutes or so, maybe a bit earlier. And he was like, "Why did you play?" Basically, he was really pissed off, and the impression was, "Why are you bothering playing me if you won't put the ball up to me?" Like he was
Yeah.
completely isolated. They weren't going near him, and there's been a lot of games like that where they've stole a goal because they have a bit of class with Inata and a few players like that. But like realistically, style of play has been out the window since he took over.
Yeah.
And they were used to seeing Maresca with a style of play last year, which they didn't love,
True.
but at least you could see
Yeah.
what was going on. So, and then being a former Nottingham Forest manager, he was fighting an uphill battle straight away.
Yeah,
Their
true.
bad blood between the two clubs. So, look, it never really seemed like a fit because they went from this buying into a style and a young manager and all this to then an old school kind of keep you in the league, Sam Allardyce style manager. And I just
stop looking at it as well. Like, he always seems to look.
The Leicester way. They should have been playing the Leicester way.
The Leicester
way.
Yeah. Okay, Everton 0, Brentford 0, and Newcastle West Ham are on tonight.
That was a poor result for Everton, wasn't it?
Say your opinions on the red card for for the Brentford game. Norton, he went in the ball was crossed in between himself and who was in goal? Pickford, and he slid in to try and get it. And his boot was high, and it did. Well, boot was up and caught Pickford on the knee. Like letter law probably was a red card, but bit of common sense, a little bit harsh. What did you think of it?
Dan, did you see this?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just think any of them ones that are high, Massey, they're nearly just a stat like a red. Like I even think the Lallana one yesterday could have been a red, and when they showed the replay of it as well. I just think any of them at all, like, and that was his one was quite high, wasn't it, Moss?
It was, yeah, but like he had complete. Like,
I understand
completely accidental.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
but
I know.
Yeah, look, a letter law probably was. Right? I just thought it was one of those cards like that. It like really. I thought it was. It's following the letter of law as opposed to having a nous and someone who's aware of playing football and what he was trying to do. Like,
yeah, and Joe, it was a poor result for Everton considering that as well, wasn't it? Like Brentford had
sent off 40, 50 minutes somewhere around that mark just before or just after second half, and they just created nothing. Like they were awful. It was one of those forgettable games. But Brentford, I just thought it was
Go on, sorry.
Brentford have been so good. Not well at home, I suppose, more than away from home.
Yeah.
But, just changed the game.
All right, Dan, fantasy football.
Fantasy football.
How the hell?
I'm going to tell you, Dick.
Tell us how the hell have you got the top and stayed
there? One was not putting in Haaland when I was getting peer pressured by a lot of people to put him in. That's maybe one reason I'd say. In saying that, though, an awful lot of people have Salah in now, so kind of that little bit of a bit that I had at the start is kind of gone because nearly everybody has put him in now, except our good friend Mossy.
If you get rid of him now,
he might be far behind putting him in, Mossy. Will you? You might take Haaland out and put him in.
I think I might do a free hit and just dabble with a bit of that.
Just in a couple of good weeks there. I put in Cunha a couple of weeks ago. I like them. I always thought he was a decent player, and Wolves just had he's a cheap striker. Wolves had a good few decent games coming up, so stuck him in. And Wisa, when he got back for the start of the season for Brentford, he was good. So it stuck both of them in, and not too many people own them, and they seem to go well. So and stuck with Saka. An awful lot of people at the weekend took out Saka. And put in. You know what? It's an interesting one. An awful lot of people have put in a lot of United players, which I just thought, would you not give it a couple of weeks and see what way? You couldn't predict what United starting 11 was going to be.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have put in, say, Bruno Fernandes based on. I know he's got a couple of goals and he assists there in the last couple of games.
Yeah, he's found form kind of coming into. He's found 3 or 4 goals and he's 2 or 3 assists, and he was all right. He played well for Portugal as well. So I was one of those people. I took out Saka and threw him in. Mainly, I was kind of trying to bring down my cost to try and build up to get Salah
in.
So I was like, I need to bring in cheaper players that might get me points. So that was how that happened.
Well, but it was always so tight back in the sense of like if you were first or whether you were 15th or 20th, there wasn't much in it. Yeah, it just took kind of a couple of weeks there where things have gone right, and look, it can very quickly change and swing again. But
don't be playing it down, man. You're on top. Wait, are you dreaming of winning it yet?
No, definitely not. No. Like there's so much time to go, lads.
Keep it in the family, you know what I mean? Two brothers
Yeah,
year after year.
yeah. But yeah, it's going well anyway at the moment. It's nice. It's always a nice, thing at the weekend there when your team is won and then your fantasy team has done well and you're kind of climbing. You see them green arrows. I think you all know about them green arrows. We've seen that few green arrows. It's always a positive weekend. But look, it's very tight and
Where
that.
did the two lads find themselves?
I got a green
Can you get
arrow.
up
I've
there?
had an
Yeah.
awful 3 weeks, and I think I'm down to like 48 or something. I had an awful 3 weeks, so I went from 12th down to 48. So yeah, not been
Jesus.
going well for me.
Howard, where do you find yourself?
I got 74 points there. I'm up at I'm 27th.
All right.
But I'm only a few points off the top 10.
Good
Yeah,
lad.
It's close enough. Like it's still
You're
very
only a few
close.
points off
Yeah,
50th
it's
as well, Howard.
It is, but it is.
Exactly.
It's so close. So like, but do you know what? What'll start to dethrone me will be when Haaland starts scoring again, and that will be at the start of the season. If he goes back to them kind of numbers, I'll be in trouble. Now I haven't used my wild card, and that's the only other thing that I will have
Don't
to
have Palmer either.
I don't have Palmer, no, but I kind of looked at it going, you look at Saka, Palmer, and Salah, you can only own really two of the three unless you don't have Haaland. Maybe, I have a expensive enough or defence, so that's something I was looking at. Kind of Trent got injured, and transfer I was looking at taking him out anyway. He's expensive enough to be carried. He's only got one assist this season. He's like 7 million for a defender. So, I haven't used the wild card yet, which is most people have used it, I think, at this stage. So I'm
You haven't used it.
No, I haven't. No, I'm plotting that. So that's a kind of I suppose, a small advantage maybe coming into the Christmas fixtures to maybe make a couple of changes there. But each week I've looked at it and like, what's the point if it's going well? Why would you be going messing with it? Kind of well, the second
sometimes
you
you can make it.
100%. Yeah, you can. So look, long way to go, but it's nice to be sitting top there for a little while. Top of the league, as you said, top of the league, top of the Champions League, top of the Fantasy League. Look, what could you ask for?
All right, the Super Six.
Me to win the All Ireland is all it's missing, lads.
Fair enough. Super Six predictions. One brother to another, Richard Coulter finds himself still on top.
First time doing it as well.
Very good. So this weekend it is City versus Feyenoord, Sporting versus Arsenal, Bayern and PSG, Liverpool and Real, Villa and Juventus, Celtic and Bruges. So, who will like to predict Man City versus Feyenoord? Who wants to be brave?
I'll do it.
Do you
want to go, Howard? Go on, Howard.
Actually, I want all your predictions. Go for it, Howard.
2-0.
2-0. The City.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah. 3-0, yeah. City will be easily.
Mass.
2-1 City.
2-1. Okay. Oh, I hope you are right. Howard, Sporting and Arsenal.
I've got 1-1.
All right. Yeah.
Hopefully. A tough game.
Dan would go for Liverpool and Real.
Yeah, I think Liverpool will win, but I think it might be tight enough, so I'll go 2-1 Liverpool.
And then Celtic and Bruges.
But again, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, let me see. Go 2-0 Celtic.
Really? Come on.
Yeah, home. Celtic at home in the Champions League.
You're starting to soften to them, right?
I told you I made peace with Celtic, so I talked to a friend of mine and it was really, really upsetting him. So I said I'd be on my best behaviour now. Let's get a few points. I'll be on my best behaviour now. So I think Celtic will. I think, and in fairness, actually, when you look at the table, they're probably doing better than expected. I'd imagine. I think we might
definitely
be punching above
the win. Definitely.
Yeah, like beating Leipzig, point away to the. So you think they probably at home. They are at home. That atmosphere can be a hard bet, and yeah, I think they might win. So 2-0.
Very good. Mass, Bayern and PSG.
I've gone 1-1 for that.
Fairly good prediction. And Villa and Juventus.
Villa seem to be conceding an awful lot of goals, and when they get the attacking corners, so I reckon they concede. So I went for high score and 2-2 draw.
Very good. All right, so get your get your predictions in. Is it what time is it by tomorrow? Basically by tomorrow. Anyways.
Tomorrow evening, yeah. I think 8 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah,
okay. So get your fixtures in, and again, the winner at the end of the season will be taking home €100 in cash, and for fantasy football, a Premier League, club jersey of your choice. Any other business, man, before we finish up and go watch Newcastle and West Ham?
No, just if West Ham lose again tonight, I'd say the pressure will be mounting with it on. They have to go then home to Arsenal the following week as well. But he could be in a bit of trouble, could he?
They keep him in there for the Arsenal game anyway.
What do you call it? Ahead of Liverpool and City next weekend, I'll just get your predictions for that one. Howard, what do you think?
I'm gonna go a draw, 2-2.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Who won City?
Jesus Christ. Okay. Thank you.
Both more than the best deck, you know.
Thank you, he says.
Thank you. You can see they're both rattling there. The hate is really starting to get them there.
Yeah, I know.
I go 3-1 Liverpool.
Dickhead. Okay.
That game could be one of them though as well.
Come on, Dex.
Yeah.
Deck, what's your call?
I'll go for a fucking 1-1 draw. Yeah.
That doesn't help you in the title race.
Doesn't help us at all, but I don't see us winning. Genuine. The way the morale is low. As Bernardo Silva said recently, we're in a dark place, man.
Yeah. Did he say that?
We're in a dark
it's
place.
really funny. He's really depressed looking in it, and he just kind of goes, "Yeah." He's kind of staring at the ground when you're in the dark place.
Deck, will you have the contract extension? I don't think.
I meant to mention that as well. I mean, delighted, obviously. It brings them up to 11 seasons. I thought it was going to be 1 year plus an option of 1 year, but it's like a 2-year contract. So, I mean, I don't know, read into it what you will, but I mean, he's saying that even if they were relegated, like, he'll be staying with them.
No chance.
Oh, well, yeah.
You would. I genuinely think you would.
I mean, the fact he's saying it, like, he's kind of preempting if something like that did happen. It would be some sight to see if they were relegated to, say, the championship, and he did stay with them.
But he also said if they were ever found guilty, didn't he say? I thought he said something like if they're proven that they weren't playing by rules or that
he did say that.
He wouldn't be part of the club or something.
I know it sounds a bit mad, but where could he go?
Nowhere. There's
genuinely at the moment.
The level of control that the entire club is built around him.
That's a good point as well, absolutely.
Like Barca are going well. Do you think like maybe Barca actually a new manager in there seems to be going well enough? Yeah, that's what I mean, Massey. Like where would he go?
He hated the politics of Barca though. Like the politics behind Barca drove him out. He hated Bayern was the same issue, didn't fall out above. For City, he's the main man and everything's built to accommodate him and his setup. Yeah. And I don't see any other club, top-notch club, being able to do that. Top-level European club being able to do that for him.
But Howard, it wouldn't suit him because he'd be going into PSG. You know what I mean? Pep is used to going into clubs that are already functioning quite well with a good bunch of players. PSG don't have that now. Like, most of the marquee PSG players, majority of them are gone. So unless they're going to
go marquee is Dembele, and nobody wants him as your marquee player. Like,
Jesus Christ.
No, I'd say when he does leave City, I'd imagine he'll go to a national side, to an international team. Brazil, there's talk about eventually would he go to the Brazil national team. Spain, you'd imagine at some stage would surely come calling for him.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe international. Maybe international, but I just don't see at the moment where if he doesn't sign a new deal unless he wants to take a break, which he's never said. He's never talked about wanting to rest or wanting to take a break. So, like, where could he go? So if they're obviously offering him top dough to stay on, and I would imagine with the way City have been over the last number of years, they've been quite cute in their spending. So I'd imagine it's going to be a big summer for City, regardless, where they finish the league this season. Yeah. They're going to spend, unless they're in League 2, as Howard said earlier on. Like maybe the rules are different there. So.
Wrexham and Birmingham are trying to buy League 2, so why wouldn't City like?
Yeah, but their problem is they'd have to get a lot. I think with the regulations are different, aren't they? In League 2, so they'd actually have to get a load of their players off the books to actually comply with the regulations.
Don't worry. We have Rico Lewis. He will stay with us, and he will start to come back.
The thing is, though, do you reckon that there is he signed that deal, but you'd imagine that they must be filling them full of that they're confident they're going to get off, though, no?
Yeah,
I
that's what
don't
I was about to say as well.
know.
Like, I mean, no, you're not.
So
No,
it could be
think
all
so?
it could be all for a perception as well. Like you don't know. Apparently,
Yeah.
look, we can get into the court case another day, but yeah, we might do
Jumping
a
there,
court
you're
case.
jumping.
Might do a court case update next week, Deck, for another segment.
Why are you hearing stuff that we don't know about?
Well, apparently, like a lot of the main decisions and stuff have been at this stage of the process, like if they're guilty or not, may have been done already. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they said like that the club will know the result by the end of the year. I mean, that's only a couple of weeks away. So, and you'd imagine, I know they say like it's all in house and everything won't be announced until 25, but I mean, if a decision is made of that magnitude, you'd imagine stuff.
surely. Yeah, surely. I don't know how they try to keep it quiet, like, but anyway.
How has there not been more leaks? Like everything is leaked nowadays, and it just seems like there's fuck all coming out about this, isn't it?
Guns are
There's
in
a
house.
serious level of
it's like,
there's a serious level of this has to be contained and that you are legally like bound
Yeah,
you
to
can
not
go to
say anything,
prison or
basically. Yeah, as in there is serious well, whatever. I don't know if it's prison, but there's a serious level of secrecy around it that like it's kind of worrying. Like I don't see how you can take like that. There's no oversight. Like you've no opinions because it's just this is what's happening, whatever the conflict. I don't know. I think it creates turmoil the way the court case
that's
is
a
being
good
ran.
point. As a City fan, like I suppose I'd love in a way for there to be leaks as well, but in another way, I'm glad it is being kind of kept private as it should be. Like if it's a court case, like for a football club, it should be. But I mean, it's good for the neutral, as you said. You kind of want
good
that.
good for your blood pressure.
Yeah. But look, that's for another episode. We will definitely discuss that in detail. But yeah, Pep another 2 years. Hopefully it'll work his magic and get us playing some sort of decent football again. But we're gonna leave it there. That's all. Have a good week, and we'll be chatting to you again. Enjoy the Champions League. Mass, enjoy the Europa Conference League, whatever,
Don't worry, I won't be watching you in League Two either.
Yeah. Have a good week, right?
All right, thanks, Tech.
Good luck.
Bye.